Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shama Sheikh, consultant occupational therapist and director and co-founder of Shining Occupational Therapy Clinic. Today we are discussing about what is sensory processing difficulties and what is interoception. Let's get started. In this PPT, we will discuss about introduction, types, what is regulation, cause, intervention and interoception and strategies. This webinar will run for 10 days in which we will study each senses separately. What is it? Why does it happen? What can we do as a parent? During the entire series, if you have any question, you can ask it personally on WhatsApp. But this entire series, the 10th day will be the questionnaire day. Whatever question you want to put up to me, you can ask it related to your child or this entire series. Okay, let's get started. Processing difficulties. Sensory processing difficulties is also known as sensory integration dysfunction. It is a way the central nervous system accepts from the surrounding environment through our senses and convert into the motor and behavior responses. For example, you smell your mama cooking pasta, your tummy rumbles, you realize you are hungry and the appropriate response is to eat food so that the feeling goes away. All of these is your brain processing multiple sensation. So sensory integration dysfunction, there are 8 sensory systems that can affect with SPD. It could be visual, auditory, tactile, gustatory, olfactory, vestibular, proprioception and interoception. Sensory processing difficulties happen into 3 phases. First is seeking behavior, second one is defensive behavior, third one is regulation. So what is seeking behavior? Seeking behavior means child want that stimulation. Defensive behavior is child does not want that stimulation. Regulation is in this condition, sometimes child seek the stimulation, sometimes they defend the stimulation. Okay, for example, we will pick the visual. So some children are visual seeker. They show you a certain type of behavior like doing corner eye, watching the movements of legs while walking, finger movement. Some of the children likes to watch water falling. They like fountain, aquarium a lot. They throw the things through the balcony. They see fans, lights and get stuck. Some children are defensive in nature. They are cover their eye with their hands. They prefer to go into the dark room. They do not like to go out. They do finger movement in front of face, mostly the eye area. Some children with this type of vision turn their entire head to look at the things from the side rather than the looking directly to the object. So we have understand seeking behavior and defensive behavior. You must have seen some children who are verbal. They sing a whole song, they can sing a whole poem, but they are not able to say what we want them to say. You have seen such children also. They look very hyperactive. You are cycling with them, you are taking them to the park, but you are bringing the child back home. You seems they are more hyperactive than before. So why these things happen? This has happened just because of sensory processing difficulties. The child is going into the environment. The child is getting a lot of senses. Then when you came back home, he become more restless to get that senses. Okay, so let us understand. So this is the sensory discrimination disorder, and this is the 8 senses here. Let us understand how our senses get regulated. We have 8 senses: auditory, tactile, visual, vestibular, proprioceptive, olfactory, gustatory and interoception. And we have to regulate them simultaneously. For example, when reading a newspaper, we touch it, activated our tactile sense. As we turn the page, the sound engage our auditory senses working. The smell of the old version or a new version stimulation are on olfactory sense. Reading the text involve our visual sense. We regulate our sense and complete the ADL task. Children with sensory processing difficulties struggle to regulate their sense and can become overwhelmed. They may prefer to live in a mono world. They does not pay attention to other or interact. Even if the child is verbal, they might use gesture to communicate. In such cases, sensory integration therapy can be helpful. Let us know what happened in autism and sensory processing dysfunction. I'll share these two links to you, and you have to see also what is happening with autism who have sensory processing difficulties. Cause of SPTs is, it could be genetic, it could be premature deliveries, it could be multiple birth, it could be emotional stress during the pregnancy, lack of oxygen during the birth, insufficient stimulation, limited play or interaction. This condition happening in COVID time more. Virtual autism due to the excessive screen time. So, sensory processing difficulties can be seen in autism, ADHD, and development milestone delay children's. So, I use a word that is behavior. A lot of people ask a question that what is child, if my child is doing is become a sensory or it become a behavior, how we can classify. So there is no scale to identify the behavior and the sensory, but yes, behavior can happen because of the sensory. Because behavior is the way in which a person act